Some health headlines today is Melanoma Monday, a day to raise awareness for the deadliest form of skin cancer. Melanoma is treatable if caught early. CBS's Jared Hill has one survivor story.
Heather Radigan says she used to worship the sun.
As a teenager, laying out in my friend's backyard with a pool, I think we would use baby oil.
The 51-year-old cringes these days, thinking about what she did to get that summer glow.
It was just sunburn after sunburn and peeling.
And as an adult, that led to multiple skin cancers. First, a basal cell carcinoma. Then a few weeks later, melanoma, the deadliest form of skin cancer.
And I just said, it looks like a sunspot, but it never is going away. So is that something we should be concerned about? And sure enough.
Luckily, Heather's melanoma was early stage.
Dr. Houman Khorasani, a dermatological and cosmetic surgeon, removed Heather's melanoma. He says when found early, melanoma has a 99% survival rate.
So we're going to do a skin check today.
Now she gets skin checks every 3 months. Doctors recommend people check themselves at home, head to toe, once a month. Remember the ABCDEs of melanoma: asymmetry, border, color, diameter, and evolving. Even for people with darker skin, though the location may be different.
This typically happen with the digits, so toes and fingers. Those are really important. They can also have skin cancer in areas that sun doesn't shine.
What's been the biggest change in your relationship to the sun now compared to before?
I really don't enjoy the sun anymore. I used to love it.
Heather still goes out. She just wears hats, sleeves, and constantly reapplies sunscreen.
Every day, even in the winter on a cloudy day.
Once a month.
Now sharing her story to save a life. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.